Greetings, Malaysians of every persuasion. Not for the first and surely not for the last time in my life, I find myself in a wrecking yard looking for something that should be easy to find, but is in fact elusive. But while I'm on the subject of the elusive, what about the enjoyment of cars? In another group, I got into a bit of a tiff with a fellow who fancied himself an engineer because, in his opinion, a car that just, quote, wafts about was no good because I couldn't quantify the enjoyment that came from wafting. In this particular case, I was talking about the 1970s Cadillac Eldorado with the 500 cubic inch V8. Of course, he was torqued because that particular engine has got a low specific output and therefore must be bad. And indeed, those Eldos are not exactly road burners, but they are eminently pleasurable to drive because they simply proceed in an effortless way. And he wanted me to in his words, explain waftability empirically. You know, he wanted to show me how superior he was because he understands how things are measured, because apparently I'm incapable of deciphering a torque curve or an acceleration time chart. But I got to thinking, what is, can you quantify enjoyment empirically? And the question and the answer I came up with was in fact no. And maths and hard things like that are not necessarily my area of expertise. So I called up a friend of mine who's also a member here, and he happens to work for an organization where engineering is very important called NASA. And he also happens to like Cadillac Eldorados. And I asked him, I said, well, can you measure empirically the waftability factor of an Eldorado with a 500 cube V8? And he says, well, you can measure it against the clock, but that doesn't really capture the feeling of supreme self-satisfaction that comes from driving it. And that's the point. It doesn't matter if it's slow or fast, as that you enjoy it. But I've been rambling, and this brings me to why I wanted to talk to you good Malaysians. What are the metrics by which you measure enjoyment? Because in terms of acceleration, braking, and handling, a lot of the cars we like are perhaps, well, not the top of the class, so to speak. Not that that's anything to be ashamed of. So I just want to know, what do you find enjoyable about your cars? And is it something that you can measure quantifiably? Or is it just an emotional feeling, a sense of well-being, as my friend said? Anyway, I do wish everyone the happiest of Malays motoring, and I have got to go do a little more junkyard digging around. I will catch everyone later. Ciao.